Hey, good morning. Welcome to Mentor Monday. Today is Monday, April 9th, 2018. We've designed Mentor Monday to be a weekly microdose of encouragement, inspiration, and miracle grow on your potential as a coach. I put together today's Mentor Monday because over the last few weeks, I've had a lot of coaches contacting me about their struggle to get started. One coach this past week who got certified through another program about 5 years ago still has not started. And I don't have caution if someone just got certified and they haven't gotten started. Maybe it took them 6 months because they're working full time to get some things together. But when a year starts going by, 2 years, then that's a real red flag for me that something is gumming up the works. And what that tells me is that someone's procrastinating for some real specific reasons. And honestly, there's about 3 reasons that I see catch a lot of coaches and keep them from getting started. And I want to shed some light on those and tell you how you can get over them. The first reason why coaches sometimes will procrastinate is this struggle with perfectionism. And it's really easy to get over perfectionism. I don't want to go into a lot of details because some of you know what perfectionism is. It's when it's never good enough. It's when you do all of the things that you need to do, but for some reason you just keep going back in. It's one more comma, it's one more period, it's one more graphic, it's one more revision. And it's okay to be great at something. It's okay to want something to be perfect. But sometimes there's an illusion of greatness that is out there that actually keeps us from getting started. You realize that Apple, Microsoft, a lot of these products that are put out to market are not absolutely perfect when they release them into the public domain. What they find out is when they release something, they get feedback from customers and different people who are using them that find something that was a little bit frustrating, something that they didn't think about in the interface or whatever, and they make revisions. And you know what they do? They send out little revisions. They send out little mini upgrades, little mini versions, even in the next few weeks after it is released. It's perfectly normal. And I want to give you permission that the number one way to get rid of procrastination is to get out of perfectionist tendencies and know when good enough is good enough. You're going to have to make a break with the illusion of perfection and have to get into the reality of we live in a day and time when we have constant upgrades, we have constant changes, we have constant revisions. What I always encourage our coaches to do is to make sure that a lot of the revisions that you need to do, you will be tweaking your marketing, you will be tweaking the understanding of who you are as a coach and even your niche, maybe a year, 2 years into coaching. And so the beauty of having, electronic business cards in the form of websites and some of these other kinds of things is you can make revisions on the fly. You can change something that you don't like. If you have an upgrade in the way that you see yourself, or if you want to alter the niche, just know that when you release this thing the first time, you are not done. We are never going to be finished. We're never going to be in our completed form. We know that that's true of everybody else. Give yourself a break and know this: I'm going to release this. I'm doing this good enough for now, but I'm constantly striving towards improvement. And improvement is going to continue even after I get started. So first thing is, know when good enough is good enough and make that possibility. Reframe it in your mind. I'm going to strive for improvement and I'm going to strive for perfection, but I can't allow that to stop me from getting started. Number 2 is that you need a plan. And I find a lot of coaches can't get started because they just went out and got certified and they didn't even know what their first steps were. They didn't know what their target market was, their niche. They don't know how to attract clients, and they don't actually have a plan of action to go out there. And this is what I would encourage you to do. Go get a plan. If you can't find anybody who has a plan, we do have a Jumpstart program. It's called Jumpstart Your Coaching Practice. It's a 20-module business development roadmap, and we show you the A to Z. You'll never wonder what your next step is on getting your coaching practice started. And we actually do mentoring through a group coaching call every week while I answer every coaching and business related question. We also have an online community where students are role playing and they give each other feedback on things that they're working on. I give feedback constantly on business cards, logos, websites, all of these things. And so I'm just putting that out there, is that if you don't have a plan, there's not an excuse for not having a plan. If you're good at business already, then just sit down and say, here's what my plan is going to be. The first 10 steps of that plan, and start doing it, which leads us to number 3, which really is this, is that you've got to set deadlines to do the things that you say that you want done. Let's get realistic. Deadlines for anybody, and a lot of people are procrastinators. It's not always that you don't know what to do, and it's not always perfectionism. Many cases that are out there of procrastination tendencies is just because there's not a deadline. You know what you need to do, but there's not an urgency to make you do it. If you think about maybe the job that you have right now, or if you think about school or any of those things, even if you procrastinated in school, there still was going to be a deadline that would make you get the things done that you were supposed to get done. Whether that be the night before or hours before, you somehow knew to turn on the afterburners just because there was a deadline that's there. You've got to create hard deadlines for yourself. Hold yourself in accountability. Look at your calendar, say, this is my end game. This is when I want to actually launch my practice by this particular date and year, and then work backwards and look at the things that you need to get done before you get to that place. For me, procrastination always looked like that because I was never a really organized person. I knew what I needed to do. It just was a matter of just sitting down and saying, here's what I know that I need to do, but when are you going to get it done? When are you going to do it? And so I'm going to hold you accountable for that today. When are you going to get this thing started? What are you waiting for? I was sitting down with a 60-year-old man a couple of years ago who owns a marketing firm, and we were talking about coaching and talking about the next steps, and he had all of these answers, and he was just like, you know what, Paul, I just don't think that I'm ready yet. And I couldn't help but to look at the guy and say, you know what? You don't have that much more time for this legacy thing that you're thinking about. And so this is the thing that I want to encourage you with, is that if you value your life, then you've got to start valuing your time, because that is what your life is made out of. And so start valuing your time, start setting aside time to get these things done, make a plan and work it and get it completed. So have a great rest of your week. I hope this was really encouraging for you. Make sure that you give us some feedback on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. Go on YouTube. You can subscribe to all of these things, but make sure you share this. Continue the conversation with us. Have a great rest of your week and take care.